are now plugged into Hooked on Science with Bruce and Tony Khan.
One, and we're live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Hooked on Sonics. I am one of your two hosts, Bruce, and over there, looking very contraire, the Tone Capone. And this week, we've got a couple really interesting albums for you guys. First off, we've got from Canada the metal band Intervals with their album The Shape of Color. And then pop punk proteges, the Dollyrots, with their latest album called Night Owls. Uh, I'm sure there's going to be lots of talk about the Grammys and what we've been up to this past week and all that. But before we get into it, Tone, people want to know, how are you?
Good evening. I am good. I am good. Hung out with the grandson today. Went and tried Freddy's for the first time. And I got to tell you, man, I think you missed the mark on this one just a little bit. It's a pretty good burger. It's a pretty good burger. I
That's
like
a tasty burger.
there's only one complaint I had throughout the whole menu because we tried several things. I had their jalapeno uh pepper jack burger, and then Sella had their like bacon double cheeseburger, and she got the onion rings. I got tater tots, and we split some cheese curds. The only thing I can say about the whole entire meal, and this goes for everything across the board, it's a little salty, a
Nice.
little salty, and I'm not big on a lot of salt. I'm just not. I mean, I don't like when one of the main flavor profiles I taste in anything is salt. You know what I mean?
That's where
But
me and you differ.
it's a good burger, man. I don't want the salt to be so forward on it. And dude, I'm telling you, everything was a little oversalted, it seemed. I do like their fry sauce. It seems like a ketchup, mayonnaise, mustard type deal thing, or ketchup
Yeah.
mayo type deal thing, which is pretty cool. Um, I don't appreciate the fact that they don't put ketchup on a burger. Bitch at me all you want. I like ketchup on a burger.
You
Always
like
have,
ketchup
always
on
will.
hot dog?
I do like ketchup on a hot dog.
You're
But
a
it depends.
kid.
But it depends on the dog. If I have a New York style dog, where sauerkraut and mustard, I'm okay with that. But it's got to be a good brown mustard or a good
Mm.
spicy mustard. And then on Coney dogs, got to have. I just like that little taste of zing from ketchup on a Coney dog. You know what I mean? Just a regular style Coney dog, chili cheese, onion, ketchup, mustard. That's
Now,
that's a go-to for me.
do you ever eat them outside of Tasty Freeze?
Sucking on a chili dog outside of Tasty Freeze.
Just asking.
I don't know, man. I had to dribble off those Barbara Brooks and do what I please.
Oh yeah, life goes on.
No, the let me ask you something, man. You lived in
Yeah,
Columbus for quite some time of your life, and I know you like a good chili dog.
yeah.
Who is your go-to chili dog spot in Columbus?
Ooh, I gotta go Skyline.
Really?
Yeah, I love Skyline.
You go with the chain,
Yep. But I do love Tony's Conies there in West Jeff.
West Jeff. Oh, that's not in West Jeff. It's actually out in New Rome.
Well, it used to be. No, well, I'm sorry. You're right. You're right.
It's in New
I
Rome.
got him. Yeah, you're right. I
It's in
got
New
him
Rome.
confused. I know where it's at.
And then they have a
Yeah.
location out towards Deer Creek.
Do they really?
Yep. Last
Yeah.
time I checked, it may or may not be there, but they have a location out there. Tony's Coney's is all right. Tony's Coney's is all right. Growing up, for me, it was George's.
Oh yeah.
George's Coney Island. Now,
Yep.
my go-to spot if I'm in that area, if I really want a Coney dog and I'm even remotely in the area, I like to go down to the Village Coney here in Columbus off of Whittier.
Never been there.
Next time you come up, man, we'll make it a point to stop by there after we go to the record store or something because we'll be up on High Street. We'll just go shoot over to South High Street, hit up that place because you got to hit them up before. I think they close at like 6 o'clock.
Okay.
They don't stay open all day and all night.
Yeah.
And then my favorite place currently for a chili dog was is Johnny's Tavern on Wednesdays. It's the only day they serve their chili dog.
Johnny's Tavern. That
Hmm.
is there in
Off of
Santa
Trayview.
Margarita. Yep.
Yeah, off of Trayview there.
Home of the Super Burger, if I remember right.
Good burger. I do like their burger. It's a $10 price tag, but it's worth every penny. Dress it
Oh
the way
yeah.
you want. You know what I
I
mean?
love
And
that
then
hole in the wall joint.
I do too. And then what's
Coldest
the
beer in town.
uh and then I grew up on George's, but George's has gone significantly downhill over the years. They're over in Grove City now, and I don't recall that they always boiled their dogs. And I'm so far beyond eating any boiled dog. Like I don't do it, dude. I'm not a fan. I don't enjoy it. I like my dog to have a little bit of sear on it.
Yeah.
But enough yapping about food. What do you listen to this
Yeah.
week?
Well, I've been listening to that album that you gave me. Been listening to the Dollyrots a lot, and then I also picked up some cool stuff. I might have the opportunity to meet up with Tommy Stinson from The Replacements and one of the musicians from the Guns N' Roses Chinese Democracy, and I just picked up a sealed copy, still with the hype sticker. So, and we reviewed this album. We both really liked it. So, picked that up. And then here's a band that not a lot of people are familiar with them anymore, but they had their time. And it's Jason and the Scorchers. This is a really cool album. It's like country music on speed and a little bit of rockabilly mixed in with it. Just a good, just it's kind of like Thorogood, but a little more countrified. A little bit. It's the best way I can describe it to the layman. So anyway, been listening to all that. What about you, my friend?
Honestly, man, I've been listening to a lot of that Thousand Mods recent release, man, and I haven't made it all the way through it yet because I keep jamming that first track and kind of starting back from that point because I really love that first track. Thousand Mods, recent release, late last year, I think it was in November. It's called Cheat Death. Solid rocking album, dude. I really, really, really like those dudes.
Hmm.
Really impressed with that album. I may end up giving it to you at some point in time. I know I've given you 1,000. I think it gave you their Super Van Vacation album,
That was correct.
and I think you rated it fairly well. Um, checked out that Dollyrots album today. What else I've been listening to? I've been listening to some Dax Riggs stuff. He's a singer from Acid Bath. Been checking out a couple of his albums that I haven't had the chance to listen to.
Hmm.
Really kind of trying to pick up his library and go through it. I'm really liking a lot of the stuff I'm hearing there too. But other than that, man, that's pretty much it. Just
Cool.
I haven't had a whole big chance to sit down and listen to a lot of music this week, but I've had a been taking in what I can.
Had your
Um,
share.
saw the whole Grammy thing. I didn't watch it. I saw a bunch of different things come up on the TikTok and other social media stuff and whatnot. And I'm just like, I can't say that I have a great frame of reference for the new Beyonce album other than It Ain't Texas, This Ain't Hold'em or whatever, because, that was a pretty popular little tune. And I'm really not familiar with the rest of the album. But I mean, that's part of the reason I don't watch those shows no more. I just don't do it, dude. I don't follow a lot of the mainstream stuff anymore. Like
Yeah.
the time for Beyonce, for me personally, has come and gone. I think she was a member of Destiny's Child. Am I
Hmm.
correct? And I remember the Destiny Child era years. When she went off to do her solo stuff, I've never really followed or been a big fan. And I don't follow a lot of I don't follow a ton of female artists, but I do follow a good handful of them. Uh, it didn't resonate with me. It resonated with all the women that I'd been around at the time. You know what I mean? Everybody remembers the first
Oh yeah.
Destiny Child big blow up. Pay my bills and my bills. I think that was them. I can't be for sure. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
you are
about.
correct.
So I mean, I just remember that being a big thing for them, and I just really didn't follow Beyonce after that. And listening to I've heard that this ain't Texas, this ain't Hold'em, whatever. It's not for me. It's just not for me. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess there's a big hype around it being country or being labeled a country album, and it didn't do well at the country awards for some reason. And I know there's just a big hype around it, whatever. And man, it's to me, it sounds very divisional what they're trying to push with these award shows. And when somebody's not granted what they think they're due, I don't know, dude. That's why I don't watch them. I really don't watch them, dude. I stopped watching award shows like that when I was probably I'm 48. I'd say somewhere right around 30 years old. I didn't really care for that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Most of the bands I listen to ain't on there anyways. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you had to ask me album of the year last year for the metal genre in general, I would give it up to High on Fire's Come at the Storm. I think it was a big release for them. I think it did well. They toured well on it, from what I understand. It looked good. I mean, the places I saw them at that were fucking packed, so I'd imagine the rest went pretty fucking well. And the album overall was a solid album. If I had to just say one album from last year is the album of the year that I think would be deserving of album of the year in the
Yeah.
metal category, it'd be that. But I mean, I'm not listening to a lot of country. I'm not listening to a lot of hip
Right.
hop and stuff because, like, I'll be honest with you, man, I do not like today's hip hop. It doesn't resonate with me. I don't really feel like there's a lot of guys out there really pushing a real message. And that was the big thing for hip hop back in the day, was there was a message and it being sent. I'm not saying that I can't hear the message of what's going on now, but last time I checked in on hip hop, it's popping pills and doing this and doing that and getting lit and getting trashed. And uh, maybe when I was younger, that'd be interesting, but it's not interesting to me now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah, so I guess we'll just kind of transcend into news. Let's talk a little bit about that Grammys. Yeah, Beyonce won Album of the Year and Country Album of the Year
yeah,
with that album. I've listened to that album a couple times,
in its
a
entirety.
few times. Yes.
Okay, is it a good album?
No, it sure as fuck isn't a country album. That Texas Hold'em or whatever that whatever that song was,
Mhm.
that's probably the most country thing on that album. The rest of it is fucking horrendous. Except for she did do a very, very honorable cover of the Beatles' Blackbird. That was a good piece on
Dude,
there.
she's got a great voice. There's no doubt about it in my mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that was the only thing that was good on that. It's not a good country album. It's not a good pop album. It's just ugh, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well,
The
let's think about this. If that album wouldn't have been album of the year to you, thinking about people as a whole in general, and what that, what an album for everyone, because that's kind of like what album of the year should be, an album for
yeah,
everyone, it's about an
yeah.
album everybody can listen to. What do you think would have been that album?
Well, unfortunately, it's going to be some sort of pop R&B album because you know rock and metal is essentially dead in the mainstream.
Yeah.
No one really gives a shit anymore, which I'll get to that in a minute. But I I don't know enough of the pop albums that were out last year to have an educated opinion on it. Um, you know, I guess, just from popularity standpoint, that Dead Poet thing, whatever that Taylor Swift came out with, I would have thought that would have made it, but it didn't.
Did you listen to it?
No,
How can you say that if you never listened to it?
because I'm just saying from a popularity standpoint.
Mm, eh, eh.
But again, I have no frame of reference to like mainstream pop.
Were there any other female artists that put out a big album like Lizzo
I
or
have no idea.
like I mean I know that there's other big female artists out there that did nobody have a bigger album than that album for
I,
Beyonce?
I, I don't know.
I mean,
I really don't have a clue.
it's very hard to understand how that got album of the year. For
No, it's
me
hard.
for
I
me
can
it's
under.
really hard to understand how it got album of the year when it like I don't hear people talking about it. I'm being honest. Not even the like I have generations of people within and around me. I
Mhm.
do not hear people go, "Man, you heard that new Beyonce album?" I don't hear that. I don't hear that. I don't hear
Right.
that from the kids. I don't hear that from my young females in the house. I do not hear that. And it's no slight on that. It's just if this album's resonating with everybody, I'd expect that somebody would have said, "Hey, man, you heard that album?"
Yeah. It's not. It's not. It's not good.
Yeah.
It's just not good.
Yeah. Like I
Anyway,
said, man. I mean, I don't know.
the other thing is,
I guess Kendrick
well,
Lamar had a really big
yeah,
night. Uh,
sure.
he had a really big night.
Mm,
I'm not familiar with him. The kids are, and that
yeah.
would make more sense. It sounds like he took home a ton of awards. How did he not get album of the
Don't know.
year? You know what I mean?
Right. I have no idea. And to my previous point earlier about rock and metal being dead, they didn't even have the decency in the in memoriam section to bring up Jack Blades, to bring up John Sykes or Paul Di'Anno. Nobody in the rock community, nobody mentioned. So again, the Grammys have absolutely forsaken rock and metal for pop, rap, R&B.
That's why I don't watch it.
I it's not an accurate representation, and I think if there was actually some sort of fucking push uh, by these companies, you know kids would actually start liking rock music again.
Now I think metal performance was correct because Gojira I mean, I'm pretty sure that was their performance at the Olympics that they were given that honor for or that Grammy for. That makes sense because that was one of the baddest things I've seen in metal for
Oh yeah, with
decades.
the castle or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck.
it was
Yeah, that was
freaking
pretty badass.
amazing, dude. I was just like, I stood there like, holy shit, I know who this band is, but who is it? Because I've never seen Gojira live,
Yeah,
and I've liked everything I've ever heard from those dudes. They're really good.
yeah,
And fuck, man,
that was a
that was one of the
badass performance.
sweetest performances I've ever fucking seen.
Hmm.
Like Kate called me in, she's like, Tony, you got to see this. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is sweet.
Yeah, and again, a performance like that it literally made mainstream. Like you seen that clip everywhere
Well,
for a day or so.
you know what the funny thing is like that's one of my big problems with like hip hop and stuff, rap shows and stuff nowadays. It's usually some guy in a DJ booth and few people come out with a damn microphone. You don't see real instruments being played and shit like that. You know what I mean? Now
Hmm.
when I went and seen Snoop Dogg open up for 311, he had instruments and shit on stage. There was a bass player and everything. It was freaking dope. Like I was just like, that's fucking dope. You know what I mean? To
Yeah,
see a backing band. Scarface does that shit too. He'll use a backing band at times. Uh, and that's something that it's a lost art, to
yeah,
see, how that music's put together or how they can pull it off live without the use of backing tracks or turntables. You know what I
yep,
mean? It's
yep,
nice to have the turntables there, even if there is a live band going on for your scratching and your samples and shit and stuff and whatnot. But it's really cool to see a live band perform the art of the song. I remember seeing, dude, I remember we saw Snoop Dogg and he closed off the set with he got the whole crowd to go, na 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 na, hey, Snoop Dogg. And the whole
stupid.
fucking crowd did it. It was great, dude. It would, dude, as stupid as you thought it might think it was great, dude. And it was perfect way to get us fucking warmed up for 311.
Yeah,
What was Snoop knows what he's doing as a performer,
sure,
you know.
absolutely.
So sorry about that. I
No
had
worries.
something in my teeth.
Well, good job.
I made smothered pork chops tonight for dinner.
Oh, suck it.
First time. They came out
Well,
pretty good. I know I want to change a couple things. I just don't know what it is yet.
yeah. So, what are you drinking to wash all that pork chop goodness down?
This evening, I'm tapping into what we call um, a handshake. That's what they call a handshake bottle. It's enough to
Mhm.
create a pour of bourbon or a couple shots at least. And if you see this is labeled WDO, this is actually a more than likely store pick from a friend of mine of Woodford Double Oaked.
Mm,
You ever had that?
I got it right here.
It's amazing bourbon. I think you reviewed it here on the show yourself.
Yep.
So I am going to go ahead and give it a review myself if I haven't already, because I've done a lot of bourbons on the show. And we're going to go ahead and have that now.
There
In
we
the
go.
meantime, while I do this review, or how I'm going to do this review, is by drinking from the skulls of my enemies.
From
Cheers.
all the other podcasts before us.
Sweet on the lips. Little burn on the back end. Smokiness. Tell there's a good flavor of the oak in there. Good barrel char, I think. Maybe a little bit of maple flavors, syrupy flavor there, kind of very warm, still warm, but very good.
Mhm.
It's not a horrible burn. Not like God, that's hot. It's warm. Woodford Double Oaked for a shelfer, something you could find on the shelf easily. And this may be a store pick, so that means the barrel was selected by the store. This is a solid 4.5, man.
There you go.
Solid 4.5. I can't give it a five banger all day because it doesn't hold a candle to some of my favorite bourbons. So, but it's good.
Well, there you go.
It's better than average for sure.
Yeah, 4.5's not bad.
What are you drinking?
Well. I have from the Ponysaurus Brewing Company in Durham, North Carolina. We have their Scottish Ale. Brings in at 7.2% alcohol. Um, this is really, really nice. It's a dark ale, or I'm sorry, yeah, dark ale. It's got a little bit of coffee in it, a little bit of caramel, little chocolate note to it. Um, very full. And hold on, let me get one more. Yeah. So when on the first sip is you for me was a little bitter, but you get like the second or third sip in there, really kind of coats the mouth there, it coats the palate. It really is a solid tasting ale. So uh, I usually don't drink things this heavy. It just sounded good. I'm gonna give this thing a 4.
Solid 4. That's a good
Yeah,
drinker.
yeah.
That's a good drinker.
Ponysaurus.
Ponysaurus. I like it. I'll keep see if I ever run across that. You know who might have that is fucking Kenny Road Market. They've got a biggest
Mm.
selection of beer, and one of the biggest selection of beers in the city.
All right.
Cool, cool. And that is news and booze reviews.
Word to your mother.
news and booze reviews. Once again, if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandmother. We love to hear her say what album she was listening to back in 1948, 60.
How'd you know you were getting a Benny Goodman album tonight?
We'll see.
I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. You fuck me again, dude. You fuck me one more fucking time.
Hey, here, this
We're
guy.
gonna cancel this damn show.
Yep, you're going to get it.
I have
One
the
of
power.
you have the
I have
power.
the power of Grayskull.
Mm-hmm. You just drank out of it.
Well, this would be Clear Skull.
Oh, Clear Skull. Damn.
I have the
All
power
right.
of Clear Skull. I am He-Man. I was gonna say something else.
And remember,
And remember, you can't
insert
spell assassination without two asses.
until next time.
Until next time. I love those little skits.
Yeah, that's great.
No, man. Yeah, it's been some interesting stuff, man. I don't follow the Grammys, dude. I just going back to that. I don't follow the Grammys. I don't follow award shows. I just don't believe in it anymore. You know what I mean? There are so like even with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm
It's
over it.
not rock and roll.
I'm over
You
it.
call it the Music Hall of Fame. Fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. You want to change it to the Music Hall of Fame, that's fine. But you know, there's genres and they're named genres for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, I think it would be sweet to see the Hip Hop Hall of Fame and be able to walk in there and see old Salt and Pepper outfits or Big Daddy Kane outfits and stuff like that. You know, that'd be something fucking amazing, dude. But I'm
Yep.
going to tell you, I really wish, you know, I wish metal would get its due. It takes so much skill to perform the art of picking up an instrument and actually playing that instrument and performing in front of people.
Yep.
I know that physically. I know that, you know,
Hmm.
there are, you know, and here's the other thing, dude. How can you get to award everything? You know, there's just so much out there, dude. You know, what happens if there's a metal award show, but they slight all the Doom members?
They
You know,
should.
or they slight all, or they slight the new metal bands. You know,
Same thing.
dude, let me tell you something. Doom is one of the only genre metals that's keeping metal alive.
I guess.
I'm able to dump more and more on you every day, dude.
I know you
And
are,
there's
Pumpkin.
releases all the time.
I know it. Hey, well, I tell you what, before we get into some more Doom stuff, let's have you talk about this Dollyrots Night Owls album that I gave you.
Oh, you want me to go
The
first?
the app, yeah, I've went first last few times. And
Oh,
I tell
really?
you what, oh yeah. Oh yes, sir.
Are we keeping track?
Just today.
Okay.
I'll completely forget next week.
Right.
But, the only way to combat the doom and gloom of Doom is some pop punk sweetness, and you're just the person to talk about it. Hit it.
You want me to review this album right now? Is that what you want me to do right now? Is
That's what
review
I
this
want you
album?
to do.
All right, I'll go ahead and review this album. I was given the Dollyrots Night Owls. This was released a few years ago. It was their eighth studio album. I'd like to put some notes out here real quick. Female pop punky, tongue in cheek. This is the general gist of the album. Um, let's get into the meat and potatoes of it, man. Track number one is called 5+5. I gave this an A. I said this was a fast, upbeat pop punk, female type anthem, man. I can see many women kind of getting behind that. That's kind of, a pretty cool song there. Very poppy, very, you know, girl pop punk, man. I can't really describe it in any other way. And you're going to hear me say that constantly throughout this. It's just a girl pop punk album. It's really aimed at a feministic side for, women. It's very female forward.
Yeah.
And that's what the general gist is of this album for the most part. Track number 2, I Just Want to Play Dead. I gave this one an A as well. It follows suit from the first track. It's fun. The reason why I really like this is because this song actually reminds me of my wife, and my wife is always of game of let's just stay in bed.
Mm.
Doesn't matter, there's at some point in time, just come on, let's just spend the day hanging out in bed. Just don't get up, don't deal with the world today. Order pizza in, whatever. Sit and watch some movies, binge watch something. So that's why I ended up giving that an A, because it's very reminiscent of things that my wife often says to me. Track number 3 is the title track. I gave this an A plus. Killer track. It would fit like a movie. A lot of this stuff you could find in a situation where the uh, what is it? The um
Squirrel.
no, it's like when I think about this, the vibe of this album, right? I think about movies that a lot of these songs would fit into, something like 10 Things I Hate About You.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those, maybe American Pie movies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, just those
Fun, campy.
silly rom-com fucking
Right,
shit. Yeah.
right. So, this album gives those vibes all day long. Okay.
Mhm.
If that's your thing, cool. But the title track probably was my favorite track on this album.
Hmm.
I really, really liked this track. Track number 4, Hot Mom with Skinny Pants On. I gave this one a B. I said it's a good song. Um, it's still pop punk. It's just this poppy, punky female thing, and I gave it a B. And it just, by this point in time, I've listened to 4 songs, and it's starting to, for me, it's starting to wear on me. Okay, it's just, don't hold it against me. I don't listen to a lot of happy music. You know what I mean?
No.
I don't listen to a lot of, you know, female power, go girl power style music. It's just not something I listen to. Um, so I'm giving it my honest review. Um, there was track number 5, When We Were Sober. I gave this one a B as well. Once again, reminds me of a late 90s, early 2000s vibe. Could fit, that kind of classic sound of punk during that era, what they were calling punk during that era. Um, Track number 6, Hey Girl. I gave this one a B as well. Um, Again, pop punk, female forward. Um, the album, it doesn't, it's just more of this mid to upper paced punk thing that's female forward, tongue in cheek. Um, it's starting to, nothing's skippable if this is your type of music. I'm not telling you that the track is skippable. Give me a second here. Can you hear that?
No.
Okay.
The voice is in your head.
No, it's the baby's downstairs crying.
Ah.
I'm do this every Tuesday. Um, so track number 5, When We Were Sober. Once again, late 90s, 2000s vibe. Um, just a B
Hey girl.
again.
Yep.
Hey Girl was track number 6. I gave this a B as well. Again, pop punky, female forward. Um, but it's just like there's really no variation until I think we get to track 7, The Vow. Um, I said this could be a radio hit. I could see that being a radio hit. I gave that one an A. Track number 8. This is where I think things really got interesting for me. Trees Sway. I gave this one
Hmm.
an A as well. It's an acoustical mellow vibe. There's a violin towards the end of there that
Hmm.
squeezes itself in that really kind of fits that. And it's a wonderful, wonderful track. Probably my second favorite track on the album. So I gave that one an A. Um, Track number 9, Tonight with You. Again, another pop up beat vibe again. S- Still more of the pop punk female thing, you know. I gave it a B. This doesn't, it's not a horrible song. I can't ding the songs for being horrible, but I can't say they're great to me
Right.
because that's just the way it is. I mean,
Hmm.
I can't do that. What's good is really, I mean, what's really good is really good, and what's, good is good. Um, can't tell you why. Um, rock pop punk thing going on here. I did dig it. I wrote beside here. I like the riff on this one. I thought the main riff for this was really cool. I gave that one an A. Track number 11, probably my third favorite track on the album, Alligator. Um, I gave this one an A. I wrote beside it. I really, really like this track. Um, if this could be like a second single, does that make sense? Like if I was going to
Yeah.
say Night Owl would be the second single, I would follow up with
Yeah.
Alligator, and then the third single I would follow up with Tree Sway.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So I really like those three. Irish Goodbye, I gave this one a B. Mid-paced punk style tune. Wasn't really over the top about it, but nothing here skippable. Again, if you like this kind of vibe, this album pretty much provides that vibe all the way through with some small variations. And then finally, I believe that this was a cover from Christy McCall, and I think Billy Bragg
Yep.
did worked on this as well back in the day. A song called "A New England." I gave this one a B as well. I even went back,
Really?
dude. I even went back and listened to those tracks, and the Christy McCall is more of this '80s style pop thing
Hmm.
that was going on, and then the Billy Bragg really kind of introduced a more heavier, chunkier tune for it, kind of making it a little more punkier.
Yeah.
And what the, the Dollyrots did was they took that both of those vibes and kind of combined it, and
Yeah.
they did a good job of it, man. But it's just the song doesn't resonate with me. I put that it's a proper closer for an album of this genre. So my final notes on this were the album could fit in a lot of 2000s punk era stuff. Feels more pop sounding than punk. Enough social and disorder reference that keeps it with attitude. Girl power. She sounds young but says real adult women issues. Uh, Driving, good road trip album. I could see like a women's road trip. Them bumping this album. It makes sense. I called it a bratty punk pop thing, and that's where I'm at with it, man. So
Mhm.
we got 13 tracks. Of those 13 tracks, what do I have here? I've got, let's see, one, two, three, five, six B's,
But none skippable.
but none skippable because this is if this is your thing, this is going to be an album that's right up your alley. You're going to love practically everything that's on here because there really isn't a bad song. I couldn't say anything was a C, like, oh God, I could never listen to that again. Or a D, D usually means I'm not touching it with a fucking 10-foot pole. If I give it an F, it's a total turd. So with that being said, man, half of the album, or just about half of the album, comes in on a V. What I really liked here, I really liked. I know, and I like if an album can come out and produce three good singles that I could pick off of it, I think that's a fair deal of songs that are on an album, and
Mhm.
you're probably going to like a few more things that are going to be on the album. If you like 3 songs on an album, you're probably going to, I like it, but it's not my thing.
Right.
If I give it an 8, that means I'll check out more. If I don't give it an 8, that means I won't check out. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of at odds with this thing because like it's really not my vibe. It's just not. Is there good stuff here? Oh yeah, there's really good stuff here, but it's just not my personal vibe.
Mhm.
However, I can't ding it because it's not my vibe. You know what I mean? So I have to be honest and give an honest review of it. And I'm going to be honest and I'm giving an 8 out of 10, dude. I'm gonna
Okay.
give it an 8 out of 10 because what I liked on it was really, really good. I'm sure that I could probably listen to a couple more of their albums and find a few good songs on it. Do I see myself, picking up their entire library like I do most people's stuff that I listen to? I don't know that yet.
Nah.
I don't know that this album has influenced me enough to say, hey, you know what? I need to buy this album and buy a couple more.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I think, especially for you, I knew when I gave you this album, this is not this is not generally in your wheelhouse. It's super sweet. It's fun. It's just, I don't know. It's got an upbeat vibe.
Well, I'm
It
an old
doesn't.
man. I'm a
I
curmudgeon,
know,
dude.
but see, well, see, I'm an old man too, but I dug this album a lot. It does not have that bite, that attitude, that snarly stuff that we typically like out of our punk. This is very poppy. This is girls. I mean, this is like teenage girls. This is 20 some year old girls, even 30 some year old girls. This is made for them. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun. That slower song "Trees Sway." I really thought that was a sweet song. Night Owls. There are so many for me. There are so many really catchy little hooks all throughout this album. That's like I can hear that on the radio. I can hear that on the radio. Again, am I going to listen to it all the time? No, but man, that was fun.
Dude, this could
So,
be a very radio friendly album.
yo, it's very radio friendly.
But
Um,
here's the thing. For it being as radio friendly, and I'm gonna imagine this is pretty much, they're 8 albums in. This is the style of what they're doing.
this is pretty much this is their style. This is their vibe.
So, my question is, where was their big breakout hit? Like, why haven't I heard about these people on anything? If
It,
they've got 8 albums out and they are of the punk genre,
that
what do you do here?
yeah, they've been on some TV shows. They've had some success. It's again, I don't think we've heard of it necessarily because it's not in our main wheelhouse. So, but I would give it. Me personally, again, I listen to lighter stuff than you, generally speaking. I would definitely give this a higher pick. You said you gave it an 8. I'd give it an 8.5. I mean, I'm not saying it's a 10, but it's fun. I'd listen to this. I'd listen to this more, and I've listened to some other their stuff. It's fun.
I don't know,
It's
dude.
fun.
I mean, by way of comparison and stuff that we've reviewed lately,
Yep.
I really like the Emil and the Sniffers album better than this,
Yes,
dude.
but it's a completely different
That,
vibe.
I understand.
And
Trust me,
that's
I
what I was
understand.
saying with that bite, with that. Amel and the Sniffers has that. This is not that.
Yeah,
It's just hooky,
it,
catchy stuff.
it's definitely not. And but once again, I'm not going to ding it where
Yeah,
it's not horrible. It's not by no means a horrible album. It's just not
yeah,
an album that is something that I'm going to say, hey, I've got to hear this
yeah,
3 times a week.
yeah. No, I get it. I did find myself kept going back to this album. It's just fun. I mean, the bottom line for me, it's just fun.
I get that.
So
Yeah, solid 8, man.
yeah, man.
It's not a horrible album by any means. It's just not. It's not.
It
I could have given it a 7.75, but dude, it really would do an injustice to the album because like if you're a young female, this thing's right up your alley.
Oh yeah, I sent it to both my girls, and I'm still waiting to hear back what they thought of it. So I will report next week.
All
All right.
right.
Well,
Well, you're up, dude.
I am.
And
You,
oh, by the way,
yeah, yeah.
cheers to the Dollyrots.
S-
Solid album.
Salute, Dollyrots. All right. Well, my friend, you gave me the Canadian sensations. No, we're not talking about Nickelback. We are talking about Intervals with their second studio album, The Shape of Color. This thing was released December 4th, 2015. It's a little over a half hour long. 8 songs on this bad boy. My initial notes on this whole album feels like a CD you would use to test out a home stereo system. Lots of sound variants. It's full, it's crisp, and it's vibrant. The general feel of this album has like a Satriani or Steve Vai type solo album feel to it. Um, and then I've got a couple other notes, but we'll get to that at the end. So, number one, actually, this thing had a couple singles, and I I don't get it, and I'll tell you why. So this is a completely instrumental album. I, where would this be released? Like, hell, you probably know more about this than me. Like this style, like instrumental music. Like, I don't see any of this stuff being a single per se. Like an instrumental single. I can't think of too many instrumental singles in general. I mean, you've got some stuff back in the day. So I'm like, man, that was really interesting. But I digress. First up,
I mean,
the
maybe on satellite radio.
maybe,
I
maybe,
mean, because that's probably where you'd catch something that's not of the ordinary per se.
yeah, this is definitely not in the ordinary. Like, it's not ordinary rock. It's like rock, jazz infused metal, instrumental. I mean, it's just it's hard to categorize, and that's for me. That's part of the problem. Like, I don't know where I would listen to this. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'll get to that. First song is "I'm Awake." Uh, my initial note was here on the beginning riff was chugging bumblebees. Lots of harmonics, with the tapping and shit like that.
Sweet picking and stuff like that.
Yeah, double bass on full display. Um, I gave it an A. I mean, and I'll get to it, but yeah, I gave it an A. It was fun. It was a fun song, and it went directly into, so there was no like cutoff. It just swept into the second song, called Sure Shot. Um, nice guitars playing off of each other. It's a cool riff. The drummer really, his fills in this song was really interesting. Like a lot of double bass throughout this entire album, a lot of just everyone's all over the place. Um, and that's where I was saying, like, when you're trying out a home stereo system, like you want to hear, like, the drummer running down the,
You want to hear a soundscape.
yeah. And this is definitely a soundscape album. Definitely a soundscape album. I gave it an A. Next up was hold on, let me make sure I wrote that right. Hold on. Yep, I did write it right. Fable. The guitar is the same pattern as the previous song. It's a bit repetitious. There's a really cool, nice, smooth saxophone in this, about at the 227 mark. Um, it gave the song a completely different feel. I really feel the bass in this song. The bass was kind of really stand out in that saxophone. Um, because of that repetition that was pretty similar to Sure Shot, I gave it a B, even though I really dug that saxophone. I almost gave it an A because of that saxophone, but I'm like, anyway. Next up, Sweet Tooth. I gave this an A plus. This is a little funkier song. Um, so far, it's the best. It emits emotion, which has so far been lacking in previous songs. Now, let me explain that. There is a lot of musicianship on display on this album, but to me, there is no emotion. This does not make me want to feel something. And I think that's really missing on this album. Like, in order for an album to mean something, it has to emit in a response. It has to emit emotion. And this was just like, okay, here, we're playing this chord progression, we're doing these scales here, we're showing off, and yeah, it kicks ass. It really sounds cool, but okay. So, um, I and Sweet Tooth was an exception to that. It was funkier. It had some feel. It had some emotion to it. A plus. I really dug that song. Black Box. It's a really nice riff, but really didn't go anywhere. Um, again, the drumming on that was super cool. Um, but it's just okay. It's not skippable, but it just blends in. It blends in with the rest of the album. I gave it a B. Next up was Sleight of Hand. The guitar was the standout on this thing, which I think was appropriate for that song title. The guitar solos on here had a little bit more feel to it, a little bit more emotion. It wasn't just kind of showing off. I ended up giving it an A. Um, this, I think part of the problem with full instrumental albums, it's hard to judge a little bit because there is no lyrics, there is no voice, and you kind of miss that, I think, a little bit. Let's see. The seventh song here, Meridian. Meridian. It's a laid back, ethereal sound um, to start it off, and then it really kicks into high gear. Um, by this point, to your point on that Dollyrots album, I started getting a little weary with this. Now, again, there's only 8 songs on here. I'm at 7. I'm like, okay, it it kind of felt like the same. It kind of felt the same to me. I ended up giving this a B. Again, the music from a musicianship standpoint, it's a it's great. It's really really cool. But to me, it needs more. It needs more emotion. And then the closer, number 8, Libra. It's not bad. Guitars were really melodic. It's a good closer. Um, and I gave it a B too. I gave it a B as well. Um, again, my final thoughts on the album. It felt like a clinic on display. Not a lot of emotion. And when am I going to listen to this? Like, is this a road trip album? No. Is this am I doing housework around the house? Maybe. I don't know. Like, for you, when would you typically listen to this?
In the car.
In
I
the
listen to
car?
it in the car. I mean, like, um, when I was going through a lot of that style of music, and a lot of instrumental stuff, because there's a lot that I listen to in that field. Um, like I listen to Vi, I listen to Satriani, I listen to
Yeah.
Animals as Leaders, bands that are considered, you know, a part of that 7/8 string thing. Meshuggah, um, what's the other one? Intervals, Polini. Eventually, I'm going to give you a Polini album. But I don't know, dude. I find, for me personally, instrumental albums just fit just about anywhere in my life.
Hmm.
I mean, they really, really do. I mean, I get what you're saying because a lot of times when it comes to stuff like with intervals, it really feels like you're sitting there listening to a guitar clinic take place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it can get that way when you listen to a lot of the instrumental guitar stuff. I mean, there has to be, while there's a lot of flash, there has to be feel. And I know what you mean. I know what you
Yeah.
mean by that. And sometimes when you're listening to some of that stuff, it really doesn't feel like it has feel. Yeah, it's great. It's technical, but where's the feel,
Yeah. Uh, for me, from a technical standpoint, this is a 9.5, 10 album.
Oh yeah.
But there is no feel except for like one song, maybe one and a half. And for me, that dung it a lot. Um, you gave me an animals as
Animals as leaders.
leaders. Yeah, you gave me one of those albums, and I do remember that was really good. It had some emotion, it had some feel to it, and obviously the musicianship was there. I think I rated that pretty high. I I,
I
I
mean,
don't know
listen,
what I'm.
listen, you have
Yeah,
you have to take into consideration there was some great musicianship going on here.
yeah, absolutely.
The songs weren't bad. You have to
No,
you have to level with yourself on what you're going to do here because it's the same thing that I was feeling with the Dollyrots. Like
yep.
it's not really my thing, but do I ding it because it's
hmm
not my thing?
I'm I, I'm gonna ding it some because I'm probably not gonna. If it came on in a loop, like for instance, if I was listening to an Animals as Leaders album on Spotify and the album was over and this came on, am I gonna flip it? No. But am I actively going to look for this? No,
Well, yeah, but
I'm not.
instrumental's not your thing too.
I like some instrumentals. I
Not
like
as
a
much
lot of jam band stuff.
not as much as I do.
No, you're correct. I'm giving this a 7.5.
Okay.
I, I again, musicianship, fucking fantastic. If you love this, if you love that kind of music, it's really cool. And I respect the hell out of these guys as musicians and a very sonically well produced album. Um, I just I don't know where it would fit into my ears.
Let me ask you this. Was it good
Yeah.
enough that if I, threw another one in your direction, you'd listen to it?
Well, yeah, you would, because that's part of the show. But no, am I actively going to say, "Oh, I got to check out that third album from Intervals"?
Yeah.
Probably not,
They're getting ready to
because
go on
this
tour again,
feels
dude. They're going to be playing up at the fucking King Clubs.
are they?
Yeah.
Now, is obviously you know more about them. Is this pretty much their vibe?
Dude, honestly, I don't think I really got to listen to them much after this album. Just because
Okay.
I haven't followed a lot of those guys in a while. Like I haven't heard the latest Animals album.
Okay.
And that's very unbecoming of me
hmm Very
because
undude like.
very undude like because I do try to stay on top of bands I really do enjoy, but you go through phases, right? You go through phases where you're kind of really listening to stuff, and I've been in a doom, sludge, stoner, Sabbath feel for a grip, and kind of don't want to leave. You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
want to leave.
I'm enjoying a lot of the stuff that I'm finding, and I go back and check out bands all the time and catch up on them. One of my favorite bands of all time is Propane. You know, I'm constantly checking up on those dudes because I wish they'd hit the U.S. again. It's been, as far as I know, it's been fucking years since they fucking hit the U.S.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
and I ain't seen them since I was a fucking kid.
yeah. Well, we got to tell the people we're on for next week. This month, as a tradition, we are doing our favorite artists, our favorite African American artists for Black History Month. Um, really excited. I'm always excited about this month, and I'm always excited about our Women in Music History Month. Um, I think those are both months to really celebrate and do deep dives on those styles of artists. And one of the things I love about our show is we don't just we don't just wait for these months to you know pick those out. So, on these months, we really dig deep for some really cool stuff. So, I'm excited to hear what you've got for me.
This week, I have decided, I'm pretty sure that I've given you Wu-Tang Enter the 36 Chambers at some point in time.
And that does not sound familiar.
I'm pretty sure I did, but even if I didn't, I could still give it to you at another time. However, I am going to give you my favorite of the Wu-Tang solo albums. And you know I'm a Wu-Tang fan, always have been. Uh,
Mhm.
I want you to hear the solo album of the GZA, GZA. He's also known as the Genius.
Mhm.
And the album is called Liquid Swords. This is one of my, probably my top 5 albums of hip hop of all time.
Okay.
And I absolutely love everything about this album from front to back. Um, the opening sequence is from an old kung fu flick. And when you start the shit off and
Mhm.
it gets into this, you're gonna see. I've always loved the way Wu Tang would use old kung fu flicks and
Yeah.
skits in their shit, and this is one of the best, one of the
I
best.
believe I believe RZA was part of the Kill Bill soundtrack as well. I don't
Well,
remember. I
so
don't remember if it was Volume 1 or Volume 2.
RZA is the
Mhm.
mastermind as far as like the beat writer and stuff for Wu Tang Clan. GZA is
Oh,
like, I think
sorry.
his cousin, the genius. I think they were cousins, and he's known as the Genius. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember all the members. You got RZA, the GZA, Ghostface, Raekwon, uh, Method Man, Old Dirty Bastard. Uh, fuck, I might be missing a couple, man. You still with me? You look like you locked up on me. All right. With that being said, if you like what you see here, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can catch us on all of your favorite podcast streaming services. Looks like we lost Bruce there for a second, but usually he jumps right back in. He might be experiencing some technical difficulties down there where he's at, and that happens. Um, what else? Uh, Please comment any concerts you guys are going to go to, any shows you're looking forward to, any album releases you're looking forward to. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from any albums that you'd like to have us review. We'd love to do that with you. Um, Feel free to reach out. You can hit us up on Facebook. You can hit us up on YouTube. Um, you might be able to leave comments and stuff at Spotify and stuff like that as well. I can't be for sure how they do all that over there because we'd like to see some of that information over there happen, but we don't see that out often. But we want to. Uh, we look forward to sharing these album reviews with you, and we want to hear albums from you. We'd love to review your albums that you want to hear as well. Just make sure that it's not one that we've done in the past, because there's 80. This is going to be episode 88 this evening. So yeah, good times. Bruce, we're waiting on you to get back, bud. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me here. In the meantime, go ahead and give a couple plugs here. One of our favorite plugs that you see Bruce wear often is the Lost and Found Records. Lost and Found. Bruce picks up a lot of records down there. Whenever I'm down there visiting, I usually try to swing in and pick something up myself. And if you can see this here, you can always find us through this link right here. Go ahead and hold that up there for you. For the Hooked on Sonics podcast, we've got business cards out there want to keep one of those on hand, get to us, we'll send them on out to you. We got some stickers out there too as well. Um, other than that, we're going to wait on Bruce to get back so I can go ahead and get my album from him, and we will continue the show from there. In the meantime, I'm going to have another sip of this. Cheers. While we wait on him to get back, what movies you guys been watching lately? What albums you been listening to lately? What do you think about the Grammy Awards and what happened there? Go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Other than that, we're just hanging out, having a good time, waiting on Bruce to get back. He needs to give me his album so we can wrap up this show. Hope everybody had a great holiday season. We want to thank everybody for tuning in and hanging out for sure. We look forward to spending our evenings with you guys. Oh, yeah. Waiting to see what he's doing. Come on, Bruce. Let's get back to business, please. Let me text him real quick, see if he's being any bit active here. Uh, all right, what is going on here? He says. All right, so it seems like he's having some technical issues, so we'll continue to hang out until he gets back because I can't finish the show unless I know what album I'm doing next week. So we're waiting on him to. Oh, looks like he's swinging back in.
Jesus criminy. This frickin' computer went into a damn update. Unfreaking real.
Are you on a different system?
Yeah, I'm on my phone.
You know, your picture's a lot better from there.
Interesting.
Very. Your picture is a lot better from there.
Interesting. All right. Well, anyway,
I gave you the Jizz's Liquid Swords to review.
you did.
Told everybody to hang tight while you got back in. Asked them what they were watching and listening to, and told them to make sure they like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell.
Yeah, that's what they should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know. Anyway, well, in honor of Beyonce, by a miracle of God, getting a
Don't give
getting
me that
a,
album, dude.
you're not getting the album. I done told you. You're getting a true American icon that had quite a few country albums back in the day that was way more deserving of album of the year than Beyonce. You, sir, are getting Ray Charles's Country and Western meets Rhythm and Blues album from 1965.
Ray Charles.
Yep. Country and Western meets Rhythm and Blues. It's a cool cover too. I'm pretty sure I've got it in my collection here. I'll dig it out and show everyone next week.
I also want to say something.
Yeah.
I mistitled our last episode as another episode 86. I'm going to get that fixed out there.
Okay.
So I look forward to my album that I'll be reviewing next week. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we go, Bruce?
No, just thanks everyone for tuning in, and tell a friend.
Yeah, tell a friend, share, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We
Yep.
look forward to seeing you guys next week. A couple album reviews, and thank you for tuning in. Bruce, it's been a blast, man. I'm Tone.
Absolutely. I'm Bruce.
We're hooked on Sonics. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.